And hello, good people of the internet. It is I, Tommy Kelly, and this is Adventures in Woo Woo. And in this episode, I want to talk to you a bit about the idea of banishing in a very kind of practical, pragmatic, day-to-day kind of sense, rather than a kind of realistic, ritualistic, or ceremonial type thing like the lesser banishing ritual of the pentagram and that kind of stuff. So over the last while, I have been enjoying, I suppose all my life I've kind of been enjoying the odd conspiracy here and there. I love a bit of UFOs, a bit of JFK, a bit of flat earth, a bit of whatever you're having, a bit of what's going on in Antarctica, all of these type of things. And I've talked about in videos and on the podcast with Spud that some of these things get less fun the more kind of real the world kind of gets, or when there's intense situations. So when they're at a distance, all of these kind of conspiracies and stuff can be quite interesting. But when they're closer to hand, people are talking about the pandemic as a conspiracy or whatever thing you're going through. There's less entertainment value. And what I find, I have a different relationship with conspiracies. Now, this just isn't about conspiracies in general. This is more about how we can bombard ourselves with other people's ideas and other people's thoughts and other people's insistence on truth and, general kind of, I suppose, push to have their agenda or their kind of view of the world for you to accept it, validate it, and agree with it. Ostensibly, it's presented an awful lot as a kind of a helping hand, or wake up from the conspiracy thing. But it's like mostly from what I see, it's really about forcing worldviews on other people, or validation, or trying to project fear onto other people. In some way to, I don't know, have fear removed from or something. It's all very odd. It's very kind of odd. I'm sure someone who's studied kind of social dynamics has the proper words for it that I don't have as an outsider just looking at it. But what has this got to do with banishing? Well, what I did this morning, and mostly last night too, is I went through all of my kind of places where stuff comes into me. So my Reddit, my Facebook, my Twitter, the different kind of news sources, whatever. And I just kind of have a zero tolerance policy where if anyone is in any way inciting fear or, weirdness or kind of, unfounded kind of statements about the reality or whatever, they're just all going. Everyone's going. I may all bring it all back at some point, and I left like Our Conspiracy, which is one of my favorite places in the world, but it's just too much. Last night I was just going through it, and it's like people ranting essentially about so many different things, a constant kind of contradiction from one bit of one conspiracy to the other, and all to be taken as true and all of this type of thing. And I know it's all different people, but as a whole, as a kind of an egregore or a cult, or not our cult, which I still love, or conspiracy has this kind of a personality, say. And it's a bit all over the place. It's a bit too much. There's no fun at all in it. And it got very like that the last time it was coming up to the election in the US, when it was just all Clinton, Trump, and it was a nightmare, and I had to switch off as well. But I did go back. I used to love Our Conspiracy because of UFOs and your JFKs and your Bigfoots and Atlantis and all of this. But it's very political and it's very New World Order. And it's fine. Now, they may all be right. I am not discounting any of these things. It's irrelevant to that. And what I'm doing is I'm choosing my own world, and I'm removing from it everything that isn't that. Coming at it from a magic perspective, that I'm creating my own reality, a subjective reality from, as is taught in chaos magic, and not subjecting myself to the kind of fears, anxieties, or pushes of other people. And so I kind of then started thinking that, well, that's fine doing your social media. And, I already, have ejected news and mainstream media from my life for the most part as well. Although I hear a bit of it now because with Vanessa being about in the house a bit more because she's, not working at the minute. The preschool is closed. She's the radio on, so I do kind of hear it. But she always tries to turn it off if it does come on for me, which is very nice. So I started thinking about that at a bit more of a grander scale. So rather than just kind of information input, what else am I surrounding myself with that I could do without? And this is kind of where you get more into the kind of practical things of, clean your office. So after this, I'm going to be cleaning my office, and I'm going to make a proper cleaning magic floor wash and stuff like that. So, really go full woo in it. But always has the practicality of, a lot of the stuff that you'd use in that also has antibacterial, antiviral, antifungal, and all these things to a certain extent, which is nice. But then I was also thinking about like getting rid of all different items, and that kind of very way does this spark joy type stuff. But is this holding me back? Is this informing something? Is this adding to my kind of negative worldview, or is this, does this make me happy? Does this make me sad? And the thing I had kind of carried around for years was this one item in particular that I had got off one of my grandparents when after they died. I think I took it from the house, and it was just an ornament, but it was kind of worn and it was tatty, and I was just kind of carrying it around with me because I didn't want to throw it out, because it was like, something that I felt, oh, maybe I should hold on to, whatever. And I just go, no, get all of that stuff out. Just get rid of it, and don't be hoarding all of these things. Get rid of the books that you're no longer aligned with. Get rid of the the magazines. Get rid of all of the stuff. Get rid of some people around you. If equally, as Spud says, if you have a date to meet with someone and you're dreading it, then that's time to get rid of that person. Not dreading it because there's something particular that has to happen, but just because you don't want to see the person, then they're not really your friends. There's something that you're enduring or whatever. So I'm going to have a look around my office and see what kind of stuff I can get rid of, and have a kind of clearing out over the whole morning and yesterday evening. I've had the windows open, which is the first time I've really been able to do it because of, it's been too cold up to now. But I've been burning the Palo Santo constantly. I have a lot of incense going. I'm going to get the dragon's blood out later on. The frankincense going. I'm going to really try and do a big kind of a clear or whatever, and a banish it all out with the intention of it being as much energetical, as much magical, but also as a kind of a mental clearing out as well, and say that I'm not like overload at the minute with all of these things. And before people say, oh, well, you have to be, aware of what's going on. I'm aware of all that. And what's going on at the minute is too much. And everyone is kind of screaming. It's literally, that it's anarchy in the wrong sense of the word, but how we use it kind of colloquially. And I just want to step back from that. And I'm going to let people argue among themselves for a while I'm going to do stuff and concentrate on my own world and empower my life, empower my area, make sure it's as clear and as clean and as spacious and as energetically clear and protected as I can possibly make it. And that involves not letting things in from the internet. That involves not letting things in from the past in forms of totem kind of things from our past. And maybe introduce some stuff that are good totems and good kind of ideas for the future, things that I want round. Like, I love books. And so over the last while I've been building up, as many of you notice, a fairly good book collection. But I love the energy of being that around me. I started buying CDs again of particular albums that I find like totemic, or that I wanted to kind of have around me as magical items. One of them is Damon Albarn's Dr. D album. Another is the Twin Temple album. I'm going to do things like that, where I'm just going to surround myself with stuff that I feel magical, helpful, protecting, is about me, defines me, and helps me build the world the way I want it to be, rather than the world is trying to demand that I listen to or be or interact with or accept, and all of these things. So have a look around yourself and see what you have around you that you can get rid of. Maybe go on to Twitter and mute some of those words. I've muted Corona, Trump, Boris, 5G, a load of other things. Facebook's harder to do, but you can do apps as well. So I've just been literally anyone who mentions Bill Gates and New World Order is getting an unfollow. Just to keep it clear, keep it out. And as Homo Satanis said, I'm pretty sure it's what he said. He said he stays away from the news, but if it's good, if it's important for you, or if it needs, it'll get filtered through eventually anyway. And I think that's the way I'm going to do. I'm going to put up a much bigger psychic sensor, and I'd advise that you do it too. So look around, start with your social media, what you're letting in, your news, and where your news intake has come from, opinions, doom porn, all of that. Then look around your area. Can it be cleaned? Can it be cleared? Can you get rid of some old stuff that you don't need anymore, that maybe reminding you of situations, or that you're holding on for sentimental reasons, but they're negative sentimental reasons, that give you a yearning rather than a positivity, that they remind you of a past that is gone, that is, a person you no longer are. And then see, without rubbishing it up again, can you introduce some positive stuff into your environment, like books as totemic things, I don't know, statues, paintings, you know what you like. So that's a banishing, I would say, which I think personally will be an awful lot more helpful than a million lesser banishing rituals of the pentagram. Other opinions are available on that, and people very much do, support the virtues of doing kind of that kind of type of banishment. I personally think there's way more power in cleaning your room than there is in any amount of hexagram rituals or star rubies. So, good people of the internet, enjoy clearing out your lives and clearing out your mind, and be well and be kind, and take it easy, and may our best days be ahead.